Mighty.
Very good. Cannot have any faults whatsoever. Therefore,
hello everyone, welcome to the Arts Embodiment Show, your favorite show of the week. A show where we bring to you love, talent, and inspiration. And in the house today, we have an amazing poet. Yeah, this poet is so amazing. You are just going to hear for yourself. So in the house today, we have Bukata Musonda, which some of you mostly known as TGV. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's actually good to have you.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a bit about you, like who is Bukata?
Well, first of all, start by saying my AK again. Most people know me as TGV, which stands for the Glory Vessel. So the story behind the name. So my name means glory. Bukata means glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the name, the Glory Vessel, comes from. Because I believe we're all just vessels. Yeah. So yeah, the Glory Vessel. So I do poetry. I've been doing poetry for about 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, I'm sure you're pretty aware. How long have you been doing poetry? Yeah. So I've been doing poetry for 4 years. I recently got into writing. Yeah. Funny story behind that. Yeah. So what else do I do? I'm doing ACCA. Yeah, I'm doing ACCA. I write. I do poetry. Yeah, that's pretty much me, man. That's
yeah. So before we get to the talk, like, would you like to share just one piece so that the people can actually say we're talking to a poet in there?
Yeah, sure thing. So I recently dropped a piece. It's called "We Could Be Better." If you want it, you could go to ReTunes, look for it there. Just search for TGV or "We Could Be Better." The piece will come up. You can download it and enjoy it. Yeah. So that's the piece I'll be sharing right now. It's called "We Could Be Better." Yeah. So there's this girl, Daisy. Now she is as beautiful as the flower she was named after. I guess that explains why she is so beautiful. It's funny, because while everyone considers her a princess, deep down she never really feels like one. See, she grew up nursing her mother's wounds because her dad chose to use her mom as a way to feel like a man again, because the world seemed to have stripped him of his manhood. Looking to redefine relationships, Daisy decided to get a boyfriend, whose catchphrase was "trust me." Now, as simple as these two words may seem, they helped him win the trust of all the girls he was dating. Yes, I said girls. Turns out he was cheating. Because he got his heart broken by his first girlfriend. He decided to always have backup plans because he wasn't going to go through the pain of believing in something so bad only to be shut down in the name of, "It's not you, it's me. I just have to work on myself." So Daisy found out her boyfriend was cheating. Looking to protect herself, she built thick walls around her heart. And when asked why, she said self-love. You have to love yourself. Put yourself first, she said. She confuses self-love with self-preservation. What she doesn't realize is that all she is doing is sentencing herself to a lifetime of loneliness. Alone behind those walls, she waits for the right one to bring them down, when all she has to do is look in the mirror, because only she can. Because even if the so-called perfect guy could try, if she isn't willing to be vulnerable, he tries in vain. So Daisy gives up on relationships, but isn't willing to be alone. So from time to time, she peeps over those walls, wishing upon what could be pretty sad if you ask me. She tries to relate, but this time without commitment and accountability. Situationships, she's just in it for the fun of the "you hung up, no you hung up, no you hung up" honeymoon period. She values physical intimacy above all else. She lives for the now, making decisions today with no thought of how it would affect her. And while she thinks nobody's watching, her siblings have front row seats to her choices. So the people we choose to relate with, the people in our lives, play a big role in who we are. Here's what I think. I think deep down we all want to relate, but have been hurt one too many times, so we are afraid. I think relationships are hard, but once you get through the hustle, the bond that forms can be described as magical. I think we're all different and relate differently due to different moral beliefs and different backgrounds, but I think we could all be better. It's TGV.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like to get to the first question, what were you trying to communicate by writing this piece?
Yeah. So firstly, when I was coming up with a piece, what made me come up with a piece was I had a couple of discussions with my friends. So there was like a time, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but there was like a time when almost all of us just started breaking up with our girlfriends. You know, like you break up with your girlfriend, your friend breaks up with the, and it was just like a cycle, and all of us just, you know, broke up and stuff. So we started talking about our different experiences with all this. And then it started getting clear to me that experiences my friends had from their home came out in how they relate with other people. And even experiences their girlfriends had came out in how they related with each other. So then I started to think about how we are all surrounded by different people, you know, and we learn different things, and how significant the people around you are to who you are as a human being. Yeah, so basically, we all want to be better, right? We all want to find that better. So I started thinking of how we could be better, you know. I started thinking, so what's the solution to all this? Because a girl will come and cheat on a guy and say, no, it's because I was hurt in my past relationship, you know. And then you come and find that, no, a guy didn't know how to treat a girl because he grew up with a father that was abusive to the mom, you know. That's not his fault. It's just the background he's coming from. So I said, what's the solution for all this? Then I realized the solution starts with each one of us. That's why the piece is about an individual and portraying the picture that, yeah, we all go through stuff, you know, and the people we relate with play a role in who we are. But if you decide to be better and I decide to be better, one person that is in both our lives could be better because we are better. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's kind of like a domino effect. It's kind of like an effect where like you drop one piece and the rest start to fall because one piece decided to be better. So if we can all decide to be better.
It's not a thing where like you want to change the entire world, but it's a thing where like you want to change yourself, then you become the reflection of change. Exactly.
That's actually what inspired the shirt I'm wearing. Because the shirt I'm wearing says you can't change the world, but one man can change the world, but you can't change the world. Yeah, it didn't take one man to change the world. Wait. Yeah.
But it's
yeah. Okay, so the idea is one person can't get up and say, I'm going to change the whole world. You know what I mean? But it only takes one man to change your world. So once you change your world, people that are involved in your world would feel the effect of the change and want to change theirs. So once we all change our worlds, the whole world will change. Exactly. So yeah, that's basically the idea I was trying to communicate in this piece.
I think it's a very good idea because when we look at like the adverts on TV, make Zambia clean and all that, I think the best way to advertise it is to tell the citizens to say, you don't have to make like just make your house clean. Then if my house is clean, your house is clean, and everyone's house is clean, then we can have a clean nation.
Everyone just needs to do their part.
So like, do you have a philosophy or like what's your belief system, or what makes you to come up with poems? Do you look at people's situations or anything like that?
Poetry for me is basically a way of expression. It's never really been like, I don't know, it's just a form of expression. So the way it normally works for me is I feel passionate about something, I look at the situation and I try to understand it. And then once I understand it, I write poetry about it. Because then I'm trying to, it's like there are thoughts in my head, but I'm trying to organize them. So I organize them with poetry. So that's what poetry is for me, basically. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Then away from poetry, I saw something on social media, the magazine, The Buzz. Just tell us a bit about The Buzz.
So, if there's one thing I'm telling people this year, it's try new stuff. Just because you're not necessarily in that field, just because you don't have a natural connection to a certain area, doesn't mean you should dismiss it. Try anything. If you're given an opportunity to jump off a roof, as long as you're not going to break your legs, jump. You never know what will happen. So The Buzz is basically an entertainment magazine. We have 5 issues out already. The 60th one is coming out soon. It's an entertainment magazine, like I said. It's just new. So the story behind that is last year, when they removed their first issue, I was asked by a friend that was already part of the team to say, do you have an idea that you could help us out with? So I pitched my idea. My idea went through, they liked it, so they called me for a meeting. So when I went for the meeting, I did not know that I was going to a writer's meeting. I just thought I'm going to share the idea even more. So most people say poets are writers, but it's different. It's one thing to write a poem from your head,
true,
and it's another to write something that other people can read and learn from. You know, it's something else. Yeah. So I went for the meeting, and then I was a part of the meeting. I was completely lost for most of the meeting, but I just played it cool, like that quiet guy, you know, that knows why he's there. But yeah. So after that meeting, they made it official. I became one of the writers. I didn't argue. I wanted to be like, no, I don't write, you know. But I was like, no, let me see where this will go. So I just let it go. So first event I covered was a show with Ebo Chungo and Pompi. I was like, oh, these are the opportunities I have. Then I'm not turning down this job, you know. And from there, the magazine kept growing. I kept doing more articles. And then now I found myself in the executive, because now I'm managing the financial part as well of the magazine. Oh, wow. So yeah, like it's been. So
like you being a student of ACCA, like it gave you an opportunity.
Yeah, because I'm doing ACCA. So they were like, I think you could also help us with the finance and what. So I'm a writer there, and I'm also in charge of like the financing part. The most amazing thing that I have experienced ever since I joined the Buzz was I got to meet Joseph Solomon.
Oh wow!
So I think
just watch that guy on YouTube.
being in poetry, I'm sure you know what that means to meet Joseph Solomon. Because the first time I wanted to try poetry, I showed my mom a video of Joseph Solomon doing poetry. So I showed her, I was like, look at this, mom, and then she goes, this is really nice. You should do it in church. So I said, this is hard. I can't do it in church, you know. I was like, I can't do it in church. And then she goes, oh, are you sure? I was like, no, I can't do poetry, you know. And then she was like, okay. So a few years later, I remember I saw you do poetry first in church. So I was like, my friend can do it. I'm sure I can do it. So I also started doing poetry. And then after I started doing poetry, I used to follow Joseph Solomon a lot. So he came to Zambia for his first show. And I went to see him at his first show. I was just one of those guys in the crowd, you know. Everybody was taking pics with him. Me, I was just like in the crowd, like, oh my God, one day I'll meet him, you know. So whilst I was sitting in the crowd, I remember I told the person I went with, I said, I will see this guy next year, and I'll be in the same room with him. And she laughed and she was like, no, I like your faith. And I was like, watch me. No, I like your faith. And I was like, yeah. So I'll be in the same room with him. So last year, when I joined the magazine, one of the events they asked me to cover is the Joseph Solomon show. Oh wow, that's so a very big show. From just watching him on YouTube and thinking I can't do what he does, because I involved myself in, I didn't push an opportunity away. Once the opportunity came, I accepted it. Even if I don't consider myself a writer, I accepted it, and it opened the door for me to meet one of the people that are the reasons I entered
one of the
poetry.
Biggest poets in the world.
Exactly. I met him, we talked about poetry, we talked about stuff like depression, we just talked about the whole poetry game and everything. He gave me a few pointers, told me about his background, you know. We talked for quite some time, you know. I interviewed him, I wrote an article about him. Yeah, man, and it was an amazing experience. It was a really nice experience. So yeah, basically, that's one thing I can say, you know. If there's anything, if you have a vision and there's somewhere you want to go, and other doors are opened up to you, whether it's the door you're expecting or not, I suggest you walk through that door. I don't turn down opportunities. Don't. Just walk through it and stay focused and stay true to who you are. You'll be surprised the kind of things that you experience. So yeah, that's basically the story behind the magazine, man.
Yeah. So like, so what are some of the things that you are yet to do with the same magazine?
I don't know if I should be talking about this. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but we're probably going to have an event soon. We're probably going to have a launch event soon. We're working on a couple of events where. Yeah, we're working on outreach programs. We're working on quite a number of stuff. You know, the ball has just started rolling with the first issue. So yeah, you'll be hearing a lot from the Buzz. If you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter. You could follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Just go and search for the Buzz. Or you could go to my account on Instagram. It's Bukatam Sonda. Or on Facebook, you could go to the Glory Vessel #TGV. You will find information about the Buzz there. You could follow us. We are literally the biggest entertainment magazine in Zambia right now. And we're the most happening. So if you want to know anything entertainment, just check out the Buzz. We've got everything you want to know.
I think I was behind on the Ebo Chongo issue, like him dyeing the hair. Like what was...
Oh, Yeah, so another rare privilege I got is I got to write an article about it. I got to interview him and find out his ideas behind why he dyed his hair. So I think we can both agree that the country has a dogmatic kind of culture. When I say dogmatic, I mean the country, most people in the country do not get close to stuff and figure out why things are happening.
Yeah.
They just like to look at it, judge it on how it looks, and conclude, you know. And a lot of people in this country feel like they need to have opinions on stuff, even if they don't have information about it, you know. Yeah, and I feel like that's a natural thing that's in this country that should change. So Abochungu kind of pointed that out. He continued to describe how he's always wanted to dye his hair. It's not like he just woke up and said, let me dye his hair. He's always like, you know what I mean? So
it's that kind of a thing, like you're a Christian and you think the people are going to judge you.
Not necessarily. It's just that he just never got around to do it, you know? So when most people think it was just like an act of rebellion, like he just said that, oh, let me dye my hair. No, it's just been there for a while. He just never got around to do it, you know? But he also he pointed out how rigid the system is. If you ask me, I think it was a cultural issue. Most people didn't like what he did because, no, it's not the Zambian culture, you know what I mean? But then, yeah, he was for me, he was basically taking a stand to show that Christianity is not about a profile. You know, because most people think it's about a profile. They think it's about chasing perfection. When it's not about chasing perfection, it's a stand in perfection. You know what I mean? Once you get saved, you have access to perfection. So you start living in that perfection. Yeah, so I think that was just like a big move he made for a lot of us. He also pointed out how once you become famous, most people just view you as a profile. They don't think about Abochungu as a human being. You know what I mean? They just think about him like as if he's not a living thing. Like, you know what I mean? Because no, he's able. So any ideas you have of able that don't fit his actions, you think no, he's acting out of hand, you know what I mean? But he's a normal human being. And then he also pointed out how we listen to people like Travis Green. A lot of people in this country love Travis Green. Oh my God, Travis Green. Travis Green dyes his hair. Travis Green plaits his hair, you know what I mean? So yeah, so what's wrong with Abochungu dyeing his hair, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we got into it. He said a lot actually. If you want to know everything he said, go and download the copy, go and download the magazine, check out the article, and you get to read for yourself. Yeah.
Then there's also another thing I saw on JROC. Like what is it about? Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people know this. JROC came up with his first sneaker line. I think he's the first person in Zambia to come up with a sneaker. Yeah. So he's the first person in Zambia to come up with a sneaker. He called it the JROC edition. He only made 100 of them. So most people complain about the price, but he explained that that's why they were pricey, because it's a limited edition. And the whole world, there are only 100 of those shoes. Yeah, so, yeah, he talked about how he's got a lot more coming up. Yeah, and it was a unique idea for him to break into the fashion market. Because most people do shirts, most people open chitenge material shops, you know, and that's what everybody's doing. So he said he wanted to get into that, but he thought to himself and said, what would be different? What can I do that's different? He described himself as a risk taker. He said, I'm a person that likes to take risks every day. So he thought of making a sneaker as a risk, you know. And for him, he said it's not about being the first to do something. He said it's actually about changing the mindset of people. It's people realizing that if you want to do something, you could go out there and do it. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to know more again, go and download the magazine. Yeah.
So coming back to you as a poet and your poetry journey, what has been some of the challenges that you've been facing?
I think one of the biggest challenges we face as poets, okay, me individually, is I think reach, like how much people appreciate your work, you know. Because you find that there are poets that actually tour the world. Joseph Solomon tours the world with just poetry, with poetry and music, but mostly poetry. You know, so I found that interesting because in Zambia itself, you cannot tour the country. You have to be like really strong and really good at what you do for you to actually like tour the country. So that's, I think, one of the challenges I've found, that there are very few people that appreciate it and that are open to it. But I found that once you introduce people to poetry, they really like it actually. They like it. So honestly, as an individual, I'm just looking for ways to cut across niches, you know what I mean? To have somebody that listens to rap, listen to poetry. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm trying to, because when I asked when I asked JROC what he thought about like the poetry industry, he said it to me himself. He asked me, he said, why do you think most kids want to be rappers? It's because rappers do stuff. You know, when you see on TV a rapper is doing this, a rapper is doing that. So what image of poets is out there? You know what I mean? So change the image of poetry out there. Then you will see how much people will be flocking into poetry. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm just looking to record more poetry with music in it, with rap in it and all that stuff. And get people listening to poetry. So that's basically what it is for me.
So like, what brings satisfaction to you when you release a piece or something?
I have an idea in my head before I release the piece. For example, the We Could Be Better piece. I wasn't trying to just load people with information. I was trying to relate. I was trying to show people that we are practically on the same page. When we look at it from a certain point of view, we're on the same page. So yeah, that's basically what I was trying to get to. So if I write the poem and I deliver it and it's exactly, or at least even close to what I had in my head, and people relate and it's impactful, then for me that's a success. For me that's good. I'm not saying I don't want to reach 1,000 people. Like everybody wants to, but for me that's good enough.
So like, what would you like to be remembered for as a poet and as a human being, to say?
As a human being, identity. Yeah, that's practically what I want to be remembered for. Identity. I want people to look back and say, when they think who was TGV, who was Bukata, they should realize that I'm a person that lived my whole life practically trying to answer the question, who are we? Like, who are we as human beings? And what does the answer to that question mean for us? What does it mean as in, how should we behave because we are this kind of people? How should we relate with the world because we are this kind of people? So that's basically me, identity. Yeah, man.
All right, thank you so much for coming. It's that time where we say our bye-byes, and please don't forget to tune in next week, same time at the Art Embodiment Show. It's a bye-bye.
Asking for help. So it's a Thursday and it's your favorite show of your week, and we are back on your screens.
You know, Jesus interacted among them. He went with the tax collectors. He